day, grade 12s. Today we're busy still with our workshop and we're looking now at statistics and probability. That's the questions that we have in front of us now. Right, the first one says, the diagram shows a six-sided spinner. Amy spins a spinner and the probability that she gets a 2 is 5 out of 36. So this is what they are giving us this time. 5 out of 36. There's the probability there now. There 5 out of 36. Find the probability that she does not get a 2. So the full probability is always a 1. So then it is now 1 minus the 5 out of 36. That's how we're going to calculate that. And that gives us then 31 out of 36. So it's always a 1, 6 out of 6, or in this case, 36 out of 36. That's how you will determine it. The next one gets a 7. If you spin that spinner, there is no 7, so it will never ever happen. So that's why this one is a 0. It's not going to happen. It's a 0. And then gets a number on the spinner less than 7. This is for certain going to happen because all the numbers on our spinner is less than 7. So she will definitely get a number less than 7. So that probability is a 1. Joel spins his blue spinner 99 times and get 2 17 times. Write down the relative frequency of getting a 2 with Joe's spinner. So that is then just the 17 out of the 99. He gets a 2 17 times, so that's his probability. Remember, we always give it as a fraction. The relative frequency of getting a 2 with Piro's spinner is 21 out of 102. With which of the three spinners, Amy, Joel, or Piro, is most likely to give a 2? Now to do that, we have to compare them, and we actually have to change them all to decimals. So let's go back to that one. Amy, 31 out of 36, 17 out of 19, and then 21 out of 102. So I changed them all to decimals. This one is 0.20588. Joel's, that was then the, or Amy's first was the 31 out of 36. That one, Amy was 0.13888. And Joel's, the 17 out of the 99 is 0.1717. It's recurring. So which one is giving the most likely one? And this is Piru. This one is the highest probability there. Question 2. Jane records the number of telephone calls she receives each day for 2 weeks. So we've got 14 calls there. Calculate the mean. Now what is the mean? We have to know the difference between mean, median, and mode. The mode is the one that occurs most frequently, which you're going to see the most times there. Median means we arrange them from the smallest to the biggest one, and then you pick out the one in the middle. And the mean is always total divided by frequency. That is the mean. So let's first now look at the mean. The total means I will add all those numbers and divide them by 14 because we're talking about 2 weeks. So we divide them by 14. If I add all these numbers, I get 117. So my mean is 8.36. And you will always give a mean as a decimal. Don't just round it up. You have to give it as a decimal. The second thing that we're looking at now is the median. Now to find the median, we have to arrange this information from the smallest to the biggest. So I'm going to start there with 0, 0. I've got 2 zeros there. Then I have 2, 5, 3 sixes, 2 tens, 12, 13, 15, and 2 16s. We have 14 numbers here, so the middle, the median will be at 7, half of 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it will now here between 7 and 8, position 7 and 8. Then we add the 2 and divide it by 2 to find the one in the middle. So that one's answer is 8. And the last one is the mode. We can look here. The one that occurs most frequently is the 6. So the mode is then 6. The next page. Complete the frequency table below. So now they have divided them into groups. 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, 15 to 19. So I have to count them now. So if we go back now to our previous page. Now let's just go to the previous page. And look there at the bottom then there. So now 0 to 4 is the first group. So I have 1, 2, 3 numbers which is in that group. So every time you have to look at your group then there to find the answer. So I've counted them and I've found that this one is 3. There's 4 numbers here, 4 numbers here, and 3 there. Eventually, this should add up again to 14. Make sure that you have that. Now we want the probability that Jane receives 10 or more calls. So this is now this out there, and it will probably 12. It will probably be 12 calls there. Right, question 3. Now, Willie records the size of 34 pairs of shoes in a shop to sell it. Now, usually we can also make that tally table. You can tally them, or you can just count them now, how many it is. It's a good idea, if you do this, to cancel your 3s, for instance, so that you make sure you have counted them. So this one is 3. I will do the same with the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6. There's another one. So there's 6. So cancel them so that you make sure you've covered all of them. Of 5, I have 8, 7, 6, 1, 1, 2. Again, make sure that this adds up to the original 34 pairs of shoes. In that way, you can make sure that you have them all. Again, what is the mean? It is total divided by frequency. So we just add the total, but now there's 3 with a frequency of 3, 6 with a frequency of 4. So to do that, we're going to say 3 by 3 plus 6 by 4 plus 8 by 5 plus 7 by 6 plus 6 by 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 2 times 10. You have to get the total there. And then we can divide this whole number by 34, because 34 is my frequency. And if you do that sum, I got 194 divided by 34, and my final solution is then 5.71. Give it as a decimal. Do not round it off. This is how we deal with the mean. Although there is no shoe size as 5.71, mean must be very precise. The next question says the range of these sizes. That is the biggest one minus the smallest one. So the biggest shoe size is 10. The smallest one is 3. So the answer is going to be 7. 7 there. Now the mode. The mode is the one that occurs most frequently, the highest frequency. Which one will that be? This one, isn't it? Because there's 8 who's buying a 5. So the answer is the 5. That is where the highest frequency lies, but you must read it off. And then the last one is the median. Median, middle. Now, luckily, in this table, it is already ranged for you. Otherwise, we have to arrange them. There is 34 shoe sizes, so the position in the middle will be between 17 and 18. So here I have 3 plus 6 is 9, plus 8 is 17. So it means that one will be in this group here. So, and it will then be 9 plus 8 is exactly 17. Now it lies between these two. So we will have then 5 plus 6 divided by 2, and the answer is 5.5. And then we have to calculate the percentage of all the pairs of shoes that are a 7. Now how many shoes are a 7? There's 6. So it will be 6 out of 34. And now remember what we said. To find the percentage, you always times with 100 over 1. To find that percentage, we multiply. And it is then 17.6%. 17.6%. The next one, Naomi orders 306 pairs of shoes to sell in her shop. Estimate how many of these pairs of shoes should be a 7. So, how many 7s are there? 6. The total was 34, and now she's buying 306 pairs of shoes. So this is how we will do this one. On your calculator, 6 times 306, divide by 34, and I have 54 pairs of number 7s. Right, the next one. Finley draws a bar chart to show how many pairs of shoes he has sold in his shop in 1 week. Now, I think this is not very clear. You can perhaps not just see them precisely. Let's just see. Here's one. There's one. There. It is a bar chart that we have here. There. And the last one is here. So there are my bars then there that I can read off. So the first one says, use the information in the bar chart to complete the table. So we have to complete the table now. Now, if we look here at shoe size 3 and 4, we just read it off. First, you must find the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks, which means each block represents 1 pair of shoes. So we can just read it off then. This one is 5, that one is 7, so together it will be 12. Now we look at 5 and 6. So 5 is 11, and 6 reads off at 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 plus 11, and that gives me 25. Then 7 and 8. 7 reads off at 13, and 8 reads off at 6. So 13 plus 6 is 19, and then the last one, 9 and 10, and this is only 2. Which is the modal class? Now they talk about modal class when we work with group data. So this is a group, 3 to 4. This is the group that you have here. And this is the group 5 to 6, 7 to 8, 9 to 10. Now, the modal class is like the mode. It's the same as the mode. Which one is the mode? The one with the highest frequency, which is this one. So it will be 5 to 6. That group will give you the modal value. The next bar chart shows the results of a test taken by 20 students. How many students scored a 7? Again, I just need to read it off. There's the 7. We can see that it is 3. 3. Right, the next one. Use the bar chart to complete the frequency table. So again, I will just read it off. What each one will be. So let's go to this one. So from that table, so 5 is 4, 2, 3, 5, and 6. That's very easy. You just read it off. Now again, they want the mode. The mode is the one with the highest frequency. What will it be in this case? Here, this is the highest frequency, so the mode is 9. You read it off. Find the median. Median, middle. I must arrange them. But in the table, this is arranged. Now, if I have a total of 20 students, this is what I said in the beginning, it means the middle will be between 10 and 11. So this is 6, and 3 is 9, and 5 is 15. So that means 10 and 11 will be in this group. So the answer is then 8. That group there. It is then 8. Right, the next one. Work out the mean. Again, what is mean? Total divide by frequency. Total divide by frequency. Okay, so let's continue then. The mean is then total divide by frequency. So this is what we did in the previous exercise also. It will then be 4 times 5 plus 2 times 6 plus 3 times 7 plus 5 times 8 plus 6 times 9. You can't just add them, you have to multiply them, and then we divide them by the total of the frequency, which was in this case 20, originally 20. And the answer is then 7.35. 7.35. Number B, a student is chosen at random. What is the probability? What is the probability? What is the probability that he scored 5 marks? So if we look in our table now, then there was 4 who scored 5 marks, and the total is 20, 4 out of 20, which is 1 out of 5. Simplify your probability. Don't give it like that. We have to simplify it. And the last one says now less than 8 marks. Now this is 8 or more. So less than 8 is then 3 plus 2 plus 4. And that is then 9 out of 20. 9 out of 20. Right, the next one, Vino. Vino is asked to pick an integer from 1 to 20 inclusive. It means the 1 and the 20 is included. Find the probability that it picks a multiple of 5. So what are the multiples of 5 here? 5, 10, 15, and 20. So how many do we have now there? 4 out of 20. which simplifies to 1 out of 5. Use that button on your calculator to simplify it. Then negative numbers. Are there any negative numbers there? No. So this is impossible. So it is a 0. It's not going to happen. And then a number which is not a cube number. So first we need to find cube numbers. Now what is cube numbers? It's 1 to the power of 3, 2 to the power of 3, 3 to the power of 3. And which numbers are now here? 1 and 8. This one is 27, so it's out of the range. So there are then 2, which are cube numbers. But they say not a cube number. So that will then be 18 out of 20, which is 9 out of 10. It simplifies to 9 out of 10. Question 6. A teacher did a survey to find out how many meals each of her 108 students have eaten the previous day. There's the total. The results are shown in the frequency table, so they gave you the information there. Again, what is the mode? The mode is the one with the highest frequency, which will be this. So your answer is 4. Read it off. Then median, middle, a range, middle. If there's 108 students, it means position number 54 is in the middle there. So between 54 and 55. So we have to find it. The table is arranged. So this is 15 plus 40, which is 55. And we said it should be in that group. So we will read it off here as 3. And then the last one, the mean. So 2 times 1 plus 13 times 2 plus 40 times 3 plus 45 times 4 plus 8 times 5. I must multiply them, and I divide them by the total of 108, which was the original total amount. And total divide by frequency, this totals to 368. Divide by the 108, and the number of meals is 3.41. Again, do not round it off. It's not 3 meals. Mean must be as a decimal. You give it as a decimal. Question 5. Question 7, page 5. A teacher recorded the number of full teaspoons of sugar, and there's my total again, 36 learners using their tea or coffee. There's the results. Now here we have an example of a tally table, where we can use a tally table. So that means I have a 1, and another 1, and another 1, and another 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you take the 5th one, you do it like that. We call it the gate method. Then there's another 1, and another 1. So what is the total frequency here? 5 plus 2 is 7. So this is, we can tally then all of them. Let's take another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. 5 plus 3 is 8. So that is the tally method. Cancel them so that you know you've covered all of them. So here I got a 9, and there I got a 12. Make sure that it totals up to 36, because then you know you are correct then there. And now we have to calculate the pie chart angle. So how do we do that now? So this one will then be 7 out of 36. And what do we know about a pie chart? We know that there right at the center, the angles should add up to 360 degrees. So it's 7 out of the frequency of 36 times that, and it gives me 70 degrees. So this one is 70 degrees. This one is going to be 8 out of 36 of 360 degrees, and that is 80 degrees. This is now my degrees of my pie chart. 9 out of 36 is 90 degrees, and 12 out of 36 is 120 degrees. So again, the degrees will add up to 360 degrees. Now we have to display this in the pie chart here, in your pie chart. Now, they've given you the circle, and we have a radius, and we're going to start here. You will need your protractor. So I need my protractor, and this is how I'm going to do it. It's a little bit difficult on the board because I can't touch the board now there. So the first one was the 70 degrees. So I put the 0 of my protractor here. Now when you measure, make sure that you start at 0, because you will see there's 2 measurements given, 0 and 180 degrees. And I must start at the 0. So the 70 degrees will be there. So this is then 70 degrees. Then you draw. The next one is 80 degrees. Now I have to turn my... I explained that to you. That's usually a little bit difficult. As I say, next year we're going to do a lot more, but the answers are on your calculator. No man. Okay, so this is then trigonometry. There. Okay, now we are busy with trigonometry, and this is extended. So Albert has a question and asked that we explain number 1 again. So let's go a little bit back to number 1 then there. So this is the typical graph of the cosine rule. It's between 0 and 360 degrees, and the amplitude is between 1 and -1. That is the amplitude. I think you learned that in physical science. Is there anybody who just have business? Yeah? No. You have business. Okay, because usually they didn't pick it up. So now they say this is the function y is equal to cosine x. Y is equal to cosine x. And it ranges between 0 to 360, but then they also say this is to a half. So we said the 2 places that we have here is there and there. That is the 2 places that you have where it's more than or between 0 and a half. But they also say it must be between 90 and 360 degrees. That's why this part is not in now. It's not in because that's less than that. So now we are looking at that place there. Now, if you look on the graph, and I think we all agree on that one, that the first one there is 270 degrees, because that's where you can see it there on the graph. But now we have to find that other point, Albert, and that is what your question is. So what do you say is that point there? Yeah, here, that point there, because that's between the two places, that's the range. Okay, why do you say that? Okay, what we should do is, if you press your calculator, I think he's right, if you press your calculator, cosine a half, what do we get? 60 degrees. So that's why he says, and remember now about cast and the butterfly story, this is where cosine is positive. Butterfly story, how do I get this one? 360 minus 60, and the answer is then 300 degrees. Yeah, but that doesn't really matter now. That was Albert's question yesterday also. So that's why we rather use this method of cast with a butterfly story. That's what he said yesterday. It's not precisely in the middle. I cannot just assume that. Okay. So what we said is I press my calculator, cosine a half, second function cosine a half, then I get 60 degrees. And then according to cast, cosine is positive in these two quadrants. Butterfly story, how do I get that one? 360 minus that 60, and that's how I get the 300 degrees then there. No, that's what they say. Look, they say for which cosine x is a half. They say it there. That's why I use it. We worked with sine 50. Michelle, please. Sorry? Because they gave you the sine 50. They gave you the degrees. So that's why we didn't calculate it. They gave us the 50 degrees. They gave us the 50 degrees. Okay, so now we're busy with question 3. Question 3. Okay, it looks like this. What also comes in here is bearings, and we also have to look at that. That one is 30 degrees, this one is 50 degrees. Now, remember about bearings. It is always north clockwise. You always work north clockwise. That's why the Titanic bumped into an iceberg. They didn't follow the rules. And then you also look at from. The from angle is the one that you are looking at. And the third thing is you have to give it in a 3-figure bearing. You learned that last year or in grade 9 already. I think you learned that there. Right, so the question is now, a ship sails from the harbor H on a bearing of 30 degrees, there it is now, to B. There's point B. Remember also that your north lines are parallel. They are parallel then there. It then changes course to sail to C and returns to H. So you've got an isosceles triangle there. Calculate the bearing of H from C. Now, if we have to calculate the bearing, this is what we want. That is the bearing that we want there. Okay, so what will it be? Okay, remember what I said, these lines are parallel. So if this angle is 80 degrees here, what will that one be there? No, the north lines are always parallel. Yeah, that's right. But we can just work now with A and C. Yeah, you can calculate it like that, which makes it 65 and 60. That's one way to deal with it. But now, look, what I actually need is this angle, because then I can say it's 360 minus that angle. Then you get the bearing straight forward. So can you see that this is co-interior angles? So if this one is 80 here, it means this one is going to be 100 there. So then the answer is 260. The bearing is 260 degrees. And then the bearing of C, why we can't do this one is because I still need this one. You don't have that one. So that's why you can't just, I don't know how you come to 295. Okay, so what you're saying is this whole, yeah, that's right. This whole angle here is 100 degrees. So the small angle there will not be 100, but 35 degrees. Okay, so sorry, this one is wrong. Giannis, you are very sharp today. So 360 minus 35 is what? Giannis? 325 degrees. No, that's fine because it's 360 minus that one. This is the bearing that we want, north clockwise. So that's why I say you just need that little angle to be able to subtract it there. No, they say H. Oh, wait, I'm totally wrong. Because I'm asking H from C. I was taking it as B from C. So I'll have to find, actually what I need is this angle here. And this one is alternating with this one, isn't it? So this one is 80. So then it is 180 plus 80. Okay, so this one is B from C, and this one is H from C. Sorry, I misread the question, and can you see I put an A there instead of an H? Because this is 180, the straight line here is 180, and then I add that extra 80 there. This is turn your paper like this, then you can see it's out. This is parallel lines, and this one is 80, so the other one must be 100 degrees. It's parallel lines. Your north lines are parallel here. Yeah, then you're alternating. Okay, now I swapped the two questions. So actually this is A and this is then B's answer that we got there. That was B's answer there. Yeah, the answer here is 260. There, 325. Yeah, I did the first one at the top. I swapped it. So now we're looking at question 9. This is a very nice question. A, B, and C are 3 ships at sea. Their positions are shown by the triangle. C is due east. That means it's a 90-degree angle there. That's important. And A is on a bearing of 220 from B. So explain why angle ABC is 130 degrees. So you need there to say something about 220 degrees minus the 90 degrees, that due east. That's what we need to see, that it's due east. And that's then how you get the 130 degrees. Due east at B. C is due east of B, so there at B is the 90 degrees. There's the 90 degrees. Then that we say, giving your answer to 3 significant figures, calculate AC. Now, if you look at the picture, AC is the third side, isn't it? So I'm going to say that AC squared is then equal to 12 squared plus 17 squared minus in brackets 2 times 12 times 17 cosine, and which angle are we using now here? 130 degrees. The 130 degrees. What? Sorry, I've got 2 questions at the same time. Yes? I repeat again. Due east means 90 degrees. They say there at the beginning, C is due east of B. So that's why the angle at B is 90 degrees. No, you cannot, because it's not a right angle triangle. That's the point. It's not a right angle triangle. So this is the 90 degrees because C is due east of B. C is due east of B. That's the point there. Okay, so now we're busy with Pythagoras here, and it's then going to be, okay, you can give me the value. What do we get? 12 squared plus 17 squared is? The final answer. Okay, you can give it to me. Sorry, let me just write it down. 69.26. This is now the combination, if you've calculated everything. Remember, can you see cosine is obtuse, so it will be a negative times a negative, hey? And then AC, you still have to root it to get the final answer. Albert, what is your answer? Albert, I've sent you that paper which stayed here on the table. So why didn't you do your homework? We cannot take maths at higher level if we don't want to do our homework. You'll have to go down. I'm giving you names to Mr. Shaw. You're going down. Yes? 26.4. Yes. That's the correct answer. Right, then the next one is now number B2. B2. So this time they say BCA. And in this case, I will use the sine rule because you've got opposite sides and opposite angles. So we say sine C over, which one side is opposite this one? The 12. And then it is sine 130 degrees. And then actually it's now very important, Abigail, give me that one, but you must use unrounded information, not the rounded one. You're going to get different. 20 point? What did you have?
26.4.
Yeah, but I need more. You need 26.4 what?
26.36.
Okay. At least, yeah, but listen what I'm saying. You need to use the unrounded one. So get used to write down the unrounded one, at least to 5 significant figures, and then you round off in your final answer.
The original was 26.36.
Oh, so the 4. Yeah, but this one, you're going to get a different answer than in the next step, and you're going to lose marks. You'll have to. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, now second function C. Remember, it was cross multiplication here. So sine C is then 12 times sine 130 over 26.36. Now I need to get an angle, second function sine. It's an angle, second function sine. Albert, kry uit jou calculator. That's the B2. Yeah? Because this is how I'm going to do the calculation on my calculator. I'm struggling to get answers from you. That's why I'm showing. But then, yeah, but second function sine now because I want the angle. So that's the answer there. 20.4 degrees. Second function sine, Koros. And then the last one is then the bearing that we are dealing with here. The bearing of A from C. Now again, if we go back to this, no, to the next sketch. Yeah, I just wanted to look at my sketch again. A from C, so it means the north line is now at C. We've calculated this C there. So what would it be? So I was just looking at the picture actually. So yeah. So there at C, this is the north line, so this is what we want to calculate. Now, A from C, okay, it's A from C, so it's there. That one, that. So this one is now 20.4. Where do you have the 90 there? So I need to get this little one here. Yeah, or 270 minus that one. So actually you can say 270, I think this is the shortcut, minus 20.4. Okay, but look at it. Bearings is 3-figure bearings, no decimal places, so it will be 250. That's the bearing. No decimal places there. I don't need that one. No, north clockwise. This is what I need. This is the bearing. So this is 270 at that point, and I just subtract that one. That's how I get to that one. Right, the next question is then question 5.
So as jy enigiets 5 op hoor het, dan kan jy na die volgende. As jy punt
Ja, the bearing.
sê nou maar as punt 94, dan gaan jy af.
Now, yeah, then you'll round down. Yeah, then it won't play a role. Right, the next one is now number 5, and this is again a right angle triangle. So look at it, because you must be able to work with everyone. Right angle, so that's the first question. Is it a right angle triangle or not? Now write down the value of tan A as a fraction. So Johanna, what did you say will tan A be? No, I think I said this one as well. Right, let's do that one. So look at the picture, Johanna. What would you say is tan A? What is tan? We did it last year. So the ratio is 5/12. That is the tan ratio. Now at B, they say find the value of 2 tan A over that one,
22.619.
giving your answer as a fraction in its lowest terms. They don't want the angle. They just want the fraction. They don't ask the angle. So then I can say 2 tan A, so this is tan A over, and then it is 1 minus 5/12 times 1 plus 5/12. They want the question as a fraction. They don't want the value of the angle, and they don't want decimals. So if I calculate this one now here, then it will be, it's nou se weer te hoog. No, the value is 5/12. So this one is going to be 10/12 over, what is 1 minus 5/12? 7/12. And what is 1 plus 5/12? 17/12. Okay? And now I just have to deal with it as a fraction. Your final answer. Yeah. So that part you can do on the calc, but it must be as a fraction. This is how they asked it. This is how... But I don't want the angle. That's not the question. They want you to do it like this. This is what they want. Okay. Now, the homework is now number 6 and 7. And then we're going to skip that number 3 at the back because that's low-key. And we still have to do those constructions there. So I'm going to leave that one out. So I want you to do 6 and 7 for me. Albert, you as well. Okay. Will you stop the recording? Okay.
In a corner of southern Africa lies a vast and sparse land, where endless horizons, dramatic scenery, and untouched wilderness abound. (1,500 kilometers of harsh desert coastline, a mosaic of biodiversity, sub-Saharan savanna, acacia bushland, encased by 2 deserts. Home to wildlife and wilderness abundant, yet ever at risk. This is Namibia, home to some of the most noteworthy conservation success stories across the globe. Initiatives forged, manned, and driven by passionate individuals and groups.
People are busy there walking for more than 45 kilometers a day.
Special species and wild locations under constant threat from an increasingly destructive developing world.
One of the world's true survivors.
This is the story of the Namibian wilderness, the stories of the enigmatic wildlife and natural wonders of her realm.
They are not a threat to anyone, if you understand them.
This is the story of those determined to preserve it, and thereby themselves.
Don't think I want to tell my children one day that we had rhinos in Namibia. I want to show them live rhinos.
This is the story of the last defenders.
We have been tracked them for about 7 days, and on the 7th day, we come across the butchers, and there was a shooting. We are not armed. We having a camera and GPS. We are just hiding behind the bushes. If I don't protect this species, who's gonna do that? So is that why I sacrificed my life to go on conserve the rhinos.
Armed out in the field with basically a notebook against poachers that are armed with highly dangerous weapons and more. How is this an equal fight?
I started right on the ground as a trekker, and I worked all the way up to be the CEO now, and I know how hard it is. It's commitment and dedication and the patience that you have for the animal. It's really hard. It's like you had something in your house that you are protecting for so long, and when you go away from home, somebody comes and kills you.
What's up, world? This is Shay, the goddess of the airwaves, on 99 FM, Monday to Friday, serving you breakfast on the ignition between 6 and 9. We brought you to be inspired, taking you to master your destiny. Now it's time to do the work.
Just show up. Put on your work boots and do the time.
Make it, and then make it better.
Hello world, it's your boy Script here on The Kingdom, where we're reminding you every single day.
Get up. You've got this. Start where you are.
Hey, this is your girl Treza on Hitsville on 99 FM, letting you know it's okay.
Try.
Make mistakes.
Ask.
I am Sibo, and I'm going to be with you for quite a while. Thank you so much for joining us here on your inspiration station, where we let you know
There's no easy money. There's no easy job. There's no easy life.
99 FM. Do the work.
The coronavirus that causes COVID-19 has changed since the pandemic started. So does this mean the virus has become more dangerous? Scientists have discovered thousands of mutations to the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus. Most mutations only lead to small changes, but scientists believe one, called D614G, may have made it easier for the virus to infect human cells. This mutation most likely emerged after the initial outbreak in China, and it spread fast after the virus arrived in Europe. By the end of June, the D614G mutation was found in almost all samples of the virus worldwide. Scientists believe this is due to amino acid changes in the virus's spike proteins, improving its ability to infect human cells. Some studies have found more spikes on viruses with this mutation. These spikes latch onto receptors on the surface of our cells. They then transfer the virus's genetic material, called RNA, inside. Being inside the host cell allows the virus to make many copies of itself. Random errors sometimes happen in the copying process, which cause mutations. Although the full effects of D614G are still unclear, some studies suggest that the mutated virus might be more transmissible than the original. This could mean more people getting sick and at a faster rate. Despite this, there isn't any evidence that the disease itself has become more severe. Scientists are worried about mutations possibly increasing the risk of reinfection. Hong Kong reported what could be the first case of virus reinfection on the 24th of August. A healthy man in his 30s is thought to have caught the virus again 4.5 months after he first got sick. During this time, mutations developed and new variants of the virus emerged. Some experts believe these changes may have made reinfections more likely. Mutations are common over the course of a pandemic. New flu vaccines are needed every winter to keep up with genetic changes to the flu virus. If a coronavirus vaccine is found, it could require regular booster jabs. Mutations won't happen overnight, and the coronavirus is mutating slower than the flu virus. But it's important for scientists to keep a close eye on how the virus changes over time. Could we be hearing more about other mutations in the future?
Dink jy sy het nog steeds abandonment issues?
Is moontlik.
Ons moeite met die sprokies. Ek probeer so hard om my kind gelukkig te maak, maar ek kry dit nie reg nie.
Probeer net help, dis al.
Jy doen niks sonder bymotiewe nie.
So jy hou van die tattoo?
Nee. Maar jy kan nie liefde koop nie. En beslis nie myne nie.
Jy regular.
Am I that predictable?
Jy's 'n gereelde klant en ons net soveel maniere om koffie te drink.
How do you like your coffee?
Gewoonlik swart sonder suiker.
Does black and bitter only pertain to your coffee preference?
Ek hou maar net van my koffie sonder melk. Hoe gaan ek 'n bal raak slaan na 2 glase wyn?
That was part of my plan.
Wat? Om haar tipsy te maak sodat jy kan wen.
I'm terrible at papa.
Kind Kos, kind sis, kind I, Namibia ice. Did I get sister Huldan Navasida? Did I get I ho out? Namibia oncology center Naragrasisen, I come from na. Ti Quito, bounce I hari, Omsnahari, Oma Badangahure, Nugu said again ha ugu. Habe da gedoch nugu sedaga ha ugu habe hang are ugu ha hoge bounce ai hare ida thadi nedi I 2019 novel coronavirus sting hi gusa au bounce ai hare.
We hear of a health innovation in Cote d'Ivoire that allows people to carry their personal and medical data on them in the form of jewelry.
Do I actually have to come for every single antenatal clinic? Because those things are tiring.
Thereafter, we have the answers to the 5 frequently asked questions on maternal health on our weekly segment 5 Under 5. We also find out what exactly goes on in an intensive care unit and the crushing stress that comes with it. But first, what do you do if your baby is choking? We hear the untold stories of what could happen when a baby's choking gets serious and goes unattended.